Hello and welcome into the Founders Club. I am your club president, Jeff Jared. If you are new with us, we go live every Tuesday at noon. And our job here is to educate you guys and encourage you guys. If you are starting a business, if you run a brand, if you just like to hear stories from successful people, that's what we do here. We talk to founders of companies and brands that have had some success with that. We learn all their secrets. We get them to download all their knowledge into us. And then we go out there and we use that information to do great things. Again, it's right here, the Founders Club. So be part of the club. This is live. Jump in the chat. And, if you have any questions, let us know. And we just want this to be a live experience. So today we've got a great guest. Let's get the show started. All right, so I am so excited about today's show. This is a founder who has started something really amazing and kind of take it to a certain level. And then we're going to find out kind of what's happened since then and get some updates on that brand. But it's in a fun field. We worked on a project or two together, so it's kind of exciting. And I've seen this young man kind of go from just beginning and into a super growth mode, managing large teams and a lot of locations in a retail brand here in Dallas-Fort Worth in the North Texas area. If you are new with us, the Founders Club is right here in Fort Worth, Texas. And so we talk to folks from everywhere, but once a week we get together and we talk to people who have founded brands and who are having some success with that. And we just kind of pick their brain a little bit. So my guest today, his name is Kevin Lackey. And so I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about his journey with the different brands that he's worked with and what he is doing today. So with no further ado, let's bring in Kevin Lackey here. Hey, here we go. Let me get myself in here. Hey, Kevin, we got you on here. Let me get you updated here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Good, very good. Thank you. There you go.
There we go.
I don't look like a
No, not yes. That was the breaking news. We have Kevin is transitioning into Susan. These days you never know. You never know what folks are up to.
I would be the first to know if I'll be. At least you would let me know. I appreciate that.
You would know. Yes, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That decision was made for you. No.
Yeah.
So okay, Kevin, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your history and kind of where you've been and where you're going.
Sure. My name's Kevin Lackey. I was the founder and CEO of Freedom Power Sports. Freedom Power Sports is a motorcycle, ATV, UTV, boat, jet ski dealership. We like to refer to it brick and mortar retail locations. Pretty much like the car business, our car dealership, but we sold all the toys, the fun stuff. We were partners with every OEM from Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Polaris, Indian Motorcycles, BMW, Can-Am. We had 14 retail locations. We had 10 in North Texas. We had some in the Southeast, the greater Atlanta area, and Huntsville, Alabama. And so I founded that company in 2012 with one single location, very small mom and pop dealership out west of Weatherford.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I think where we met because and I've mentioned this on here before if you've been with us is when I first started working for myself and I was working from home and the kids were around and it was kind of challenging to get work done, so I went out and found a co-working spot. And they had the co-working and they had the office suites where you could get like your own office and lock the door and leave your stuff there and everything. And so we moved in. It was called CoLab, and that's how I know Kevin because a few doors down the way is where you guys were set up in your first. Was that your first corporate headquarters?
It wasn't. It was actually our second. So whenever I started to do acquisitions, I knew I had to move out of the dealership, and I found a little shopping strip center right down the street from our first dealership, and they had this tiny little odd space that they couldn't do anything with, and the owner basically was using it as his own personal storage, and so but he wanted to rent it out, and so it was the cheapest thing I could find at the time. We were scrapping every dollar And so we found this little location, and me and four others moved into that location. And it was me and about five accounting girls. And I found myself pretty quickly being outnumbered, and I was like, I got to get out of here. So that's when I went to CoLab originally and just got one of the single offices as a place for me to go get heads down and kind of block out all the noise. But then it quickly transitioned into I needed my COO there, I needed my controller there, I needed my marketing director. So we slowly kind of graduated into those bigger offices.
Yeah, that was fun. That was it was kind of we weren't kind of at y'all's level with volume, but we kind of had that same head count trajectory where we kind of went up. So someone said we have a wicked audio loop in the chat. So I do. Let's see here. Wicked audio loop. I don't know what to do about that, but let us know. I'll just adjust some settings here. Let us know in the chat if we still have that issue kind of going forward. Oh, hold on. You know what I have? Maybe we had the feed pulled up in the browser. Okay, this is good to know. See, this is the fun of live. And the good thing is the live folks can give us that feedback. So good looking out with the chat. Let me know if that closed the loop. I just closed a browser tab that may have been an issue. So, all right, we'll chop that part out for the Apple podcast version. So we were talking about, yes. Oh, so we were in like the suite next to you guys, and we had all these folks. And so if you're new to the show, I've been marketing, or I've been in marketing for many years, and creative space. And so we always had a bunch of rowdy creative folks over there doing who knows what. And you guys were trying to, do some serious business next door. But we always thought your space, my kids would come up and they always thought your space was the coolest because you had like motorcycle helmets and like, cool looking, Freedom Power Sportsy things in your space. And it just kind of made it a cool vibe.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of my favorite memories. When I look back, everybody always, you hear guys in their 70s and people ask them all these questions about owning businesses and getting to the point of some sort of success or a sell or whatever. I look back and it's definitely that was the fun part of my journey. It was 100% those days, being in that office, being new people, really to grow our business.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Am I freezing up?
Yeah, a little bit of freezing up, and then we've also got a message saying I think it was on Kevin's end. Do you happen to have like a laptop on the feed or anything? Nothing.
I'm on my laptop now.
Oh, you're on your laptop now. Okay.
Should I go to? Yeah. Should I go to my phone?
Yeah, I mean, we can try it. Let's try it. I mean, hey, we're live. Well, let's just try it and see. Let's make sure we don't. All right, so we're going to disconnect this feed and we'll go to the other feed. All right, hang with us. If you're new with this, we are the Founders Club Live. This is the fun part of being live is we get to, here we go. And guest number one here. Oh, here he's back. Okay. We got the phone feed going. Let's see. Oh, no worries. Yeah, no, that's just, you never know. This is the fun of being live is you sometimes you get, okay, I can kind of see you a little better too. Okay, here we go. All right, well, the chat can also let us know if that audio is new and improved. Again, this is the fun of the live show here. We're just going and figuring it out as we go. But if you're just joining us, I'm here with Kevin Lackey. He is the was the founder and CEO of Freedom Power Sports. We're going to get into his next chapter, but we were talking about early days and working in this co-working space is where we met each other. And I'm with you. He was just recounting how it's the good old days, right? It's like you remember it. It was fun, and you're starting off, and you're growing, and everything's so exciting, and then the world is this expanding place. And I was right beside you, kind of having that same experience. And those people that I worked with at that time, people come and go, right? But those people that you worked with always have a special place. You always just remember that so fondly, just the people that were with you as you were, kind of going through that expansion phase. Talk about some of the people in that time.
Yeah, so we grew from when I started my company. I think we had 18 people in total. That was in the brick and mortar dealership, and by the time we sold, we were about 300 to 350 employees at any given time.
Wow.
And so many of those original employees are part of the team, especially the ones through collab. I mean, they were my best friends. We would be working there 6 7 days a week, 12 15 hours a day at
Oh
times.
yeah. You see them
And
more than your family.
yeah, we did. We saw. I mean, our family would
100%.
come there to visit us. That's where they would come to bring food and say hi and all that kind of stuff. And so you know, yeah, but that camaraderie and just being a part of each other's lives and working like towards one mission together. When you have that kind of group of people that are so bought into what you're doing and what you believe in, that kind of commitment, you just look back and you just really I admire and appreciate because my company. It wasn't just me, right? I can never look back and say it was just me and it was all my direction and all these things. I mean, it took a team of people, and I'm so grateful for them. And I'm actually really grateful for how confined that space was. I mean, we had a nice office at the end, but I mean, we still had a lot of people packed in there. And having that confined workspace, we were able to hear what each other was working on, a lot of accountability. We were able to solve things very quickly. So I really enjoyed and appreciated that kind of confined work environment.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you. You talked about like just the people being so important, and you don't do it on your own, and I think that is important for people that are just starting out or people that are starting to grow. Is because I feel like for most people, and I guess for myself, you kind of learn that lesson the hard way because when you start off, everything is you. And then you kind of feel like you kind of turn into a control. Most people do kind of turn into a control freak just because as you start to have people help you, maybe they don't do it the way you want to do it, and you're like, oh, you want to jump into every single thing, but there becomes a point where it's like, okay, there's too much to do. You have to kind of just let people do what they do, and then you're kind of managing that process. But it is definitely a transition.
Yeah, well, there's two things here, two keys that I learned as we grew. Right, is one thing is perfection is the killer of whatever the saying is, like
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
make things perfect. The perfection of getting it done, of execution, for sure. And I also would say, like from one of the things I learned early on, from to scale, you got to delegate. You just have to delegate to others and allow people one to do the things that you're not good at. Like, I mean, I'm not an accountant. I'm not a marketing girl. I'm not our marketing guy. I'm not a HR director. So when we did get to a place where you had grown to a place that you need someone to be really good in that field, it will serve you later in a much bigger capacity. But also, for me, I learned pretty early on as we were doing acquisitions, and I don't want this to sound bad to someone starting out, but when you're trying to achieve 100% of maximizing your business and your efforts or whatever, it will exhaust you trying to build this perfect business. And for me, I learned that if I could get to 85% of really where I wanted to be, and other people were doing that, because I could get it closer to the 100, right? That perfectionist in me,
Yeah.
I can do it. They don't understand how to do it like I know how to do it. I had to let go and literally let other people do a less good job than I knew I could do because of my experience and because of my motivation and because of my efforts, but let them do a less good job. But then that allowed me to then go focus 100% of my effort on something else. And so as I was just became happy with them trying to get to 100 or to 85%, and if they did better than that, that was great. It allowed me to go put my efforts into something else completely.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, I think for many folks, you got to kind of go kicking and screaming into that phase, just because it's hard. It's hard to realize that you always want everything to be 100%, and you just got to count on folks to do what they do. You got to empower them, and you got to move forward that way, or else you don't grow. You just kind of stay with what you can do. And for some people, they're solopreneurs. Their thing that they do is just depending on just them, their skills, their freelancers and stuff like that.
Correct.
They don't have a mentality to grow and have a bigger team and have a bigger company. That's not their goal, and that's fine for them. But if you are going to have a brand that is dependent on scaling and growing, that's just a natural kind of thing that you got to come to terms with.
Yeah, and I totally respect that. And everybody has their own version of what they want to do. But, we all get old. We all have emergencies. We all have health issues and things like that. And, I really have, as I've defined the kind of businesses that I'm a part of now and the businesses that I'm running now, none of them will depend on me every day or on any given day. And that's just for me personally something that I've learned that, it becomes difficult. So like if you're a photographer, right? It would be a good idea, in my opinion, if I was going to be in the own a photography business, is to start to have someone who can help maximize your time, setting up the equipment, getting everybody ready, getting scheduling ready,
Oh my goodness,
whatever.
yes.
That way you're
Yes.
maximizing 100% of your talents on what you're doing, and that's how you get, paid.
Yes. One of our other guests on here, Stacey McGovern, was talking about, do you want to have a business or a job? Because if you just have if you start a business where you do everything, you don't have a business, you have a job. You just made yourself a job. If you have to do every single thing, that's your job. You don't run a business. You're just clocking in, and it's just the same as having a regular job. It has to be something where you can be out of the mix, but still, obviously in charge of things. But I'm actually, this is so timely because I just had a conversation yesterday with a new effort that I'm doing in this podcast world with a friend of mine, and how I can empower him to do so much of what we're going to be doing going forward, and also shaping the product offering that we're going to offer for this podcasting thing based on what I knew could be scalable without Jeff Jarrett. Like if Jeff Jarrett is involved in every single podcast production and every single thing that we do, well, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this other thing. But it's like, okay, what if I'm not doing it? How do I, what is our product offering at that point? So I need to offer the thing that allows, everyone to be able to help and do it. So if it means cutting a few features out, or if changing the product offering a little bit, that's better because it helps the client ultimately not have a bottleneck. Like in the past, I've been such a huge bottleneck with the perfectionism that it's just things don't get through. And so I need to start as I'm learning. It took me 16 years, but I'm learning to let, to step back and make the things that are scalable. And then I say that, and then I've got another meeting today about, a different product to help people, kind of get in business for themselves. And the same thing, just working with folks that, that can run with it. So anyways, that's so huge.
It is. Yeah, that was when I look back and, the biggest key to my success, or however you define that success, is that I had really good people behind me that wanted to learn and wanted to grow, and I got out of their way. There was nothing more than I wanted to just get out of their way and then watch someone else do it. And early on, that was very scary. So for 10 years, I didn't operate that way. For 10 years, I operated with complete control before I was a founder or owner. And then I became an owner. And just by circumstances, this isn't because I'm so smart or I read a book or I went and got my MBA. It's honestly that within 60 days of me closing on my first business that I barely got done, it took me a year or more to do. It was very difficult to get done. 60 days later, I had a guy who I've known for a long time want me to buy his dealership, and he was willing to sell or finance that dealership because his father was having health challenges. And I told him, I don't think I can simply do this. And he said, listen, I'm going to put you a seller finance note. I'm going to make it so easy for you to buy this dealership. All you have to do is show up Monday morning, the keys under the doormat to the business. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, I made the decision on Sunday night if I was even going. He said, if you don't show up, the employees won't be able to walk in the door. So I showed up Monday morning by myself and started to figure out what I needed to do. And I told my right hand at the other dealership, you're going to have to handle this while I go out here and get started. Dude, they all stepped up, right? So then I got that dealership rolling, brought the right leader in, an opportunity came up, went and acquired another one, got out of that dealership's way. I mean, by the time I got to the fourth or so acquisition, the dealership that I thought that I was going to work at forever, that was my dream to buy, I didn't even step foot in for 3 years.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, that's you kind of see the hand of God kind of working in that whole timeline.
He was in it from the very beginning, dude. I can tell you that.
Amen. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All right. So there's so much to cover. We want to get to 2662 or however you say that capital. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But we've got some shenanigans. I gotta put you on the spot here. I gotta put you on the hot seat. Here we go. We're gonna play something. Let me just show it to you. Here it is, right here. It's Founders Club Tournament Edition. Here we go. Look at this. This is because you were in the power sports world, okay? And you were in motorcycles and dirt bikes and ATVs and all that jazz, okay? So we're doing the best movie bike battle, okay? So these are the coolest, best motorcycles, okay, in movie history, okay, according to Kevin Lackey. Okay, so this is a tournament style. So in the bracket, you'll decide who advances and who's out, all right? Simple enough?
I like it.
All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go. First round, right off the pop, we've got the Terminator T2 motorcycle scene versus Judge Dredd. This is the newer one, not the older one. I don't think this is the Savage Stallone one. I think this is the newest version. Who advances and who's getting left behind?
Dude, I'm an old hardcore dude, so I think Terminator's got to go forward.
It's so good. It's such a good scene. I love those old movies before CG took over everything and you had to do things practically, you know, and you got a semi truck like going off the bridge, and of course in real life it doesn't land and keep going, but they actually took when the truck goes off the bridge, a real truck went off a real bridge in real life and they filmed it, and that's what we got, and that's why that movie's so great. But it's one of my son is a big movie nerd. He's 16 and it's one of his absolute favorite movies. He loves it's one of his favorite sequels. What's that?
My son's 16 as well.
Oh, okay. Right on. It's a fun time. Okay, so round 2, we have The Great Escape, Steve McQueen, versus Top Gun.
Oh, come on.
I know. 2 of the coolest movie stars ever right here.
I feel like people may like harass me online if I don't pick Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
But Top, like one of the most iconic motorcycle movie scenes ever.
Agree. They say he had that bomber jacket on and he's riding and he's got the aviators and he's on the runway, and supposedly that did a huge boost for Air Force enlistments and recruiting. Once that movie came out, all the kids were going down. I want to be in the Air Force. This is like so cool.
Yeah, everybody that I had that owned a motorcycle dealership back in the 80s and 90s that were near any type of military base, they crushed it.
Oh, I bet.
It was the first thing kids did when they enlisted was go buy a motorcycle.
It was like standard issue. You had to. Okay, right. So what's it going to be? This is a tough one.
Tom Cruise is a loser, but you got to go Top Gun.
You got to go Top Gun. Oh, so you're not a Tom Cruise fan? Too much Scientology or what?
Yeah, just all of it. I think he's just a weird dude.
He is a weird dude, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he's a crazy man, but man, he puts everything into those movies. He goes all in.
He does. Professional. He is a professional.
You got to give him that. That's for sure. All right, so round 3, we're here at Tom Cruise again. Mission Impossible 2 versus Kill Bill. Beatrice Kiddo, Kill Bill.
Yeah, I mean this is an easy one. Kill Bill, no question.
Oh, okay. So my son, we're going through Tarantino catalog right now. He's my favorite director, and my son wants to watch them all in order. So we just did Jackie Brown, meaning Kill Bill Volume 1 is next up, and so he's really excited to get to Kill Bill. So that's where things get really nuts. So all right, so she moves on. That was an easy one. Okay. All right. What about this one? We got the Skyfall dirt bike that he goes, across all of the rooftops and stuff versus the Bat Pod. I guess it's called. I didn't even know that until I'm looking at it right here. From the Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, we're going dirt bike across rooftops, dude. I mean, I've done that.
Really? Okay, over the Bat. Okay, over the Dark Knight, a classic. Wow, controversial pick, but no hesitation.
Yeah. It's not even real. It's not. It's a pod. It's a Batman pod.
Yeah, that's true. But it is freaking cool.
It is freaking cool, man. That's a motorcycle. When you ride a dirt bike across some rooftops, like, that's real.
Yeah, that was a baller. And I. Okay, so who's the best James Bond, in your opinion?
The best James Bond.
Because I'm just going Daniel Craig, and I know that might be recency bias. People may, but I think I liked his movies the most. They're the least slick, most kind of gritty, and I'm on team. Yeah, and I liked all the old ones and stuff, but it just has a different attitude these days. So sad to see him go, but I think he's done. Well, I guess spoilers for the latest film, but he's done. So, all right, they can always bring him back. They find ways. All right, here we go. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Band. So this is your old school. There's your old school versus another older school. This is the Last Crusade. This is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with the bucket seat next door.
Yeah, I'm going Indiana Jones.
Ooh, okay.
Just a childhood memory.
That was my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I loved all of them. Yeah. Sean Connery as the dad. I mean, come on, that's money. Okay, all right. So we're leaving the Marble Man behind. He gets the X. Indy gets to move on. All right, here we go. We're moving along. We're doing pretty good. Okay, so this is, if you don't recognize this is Rocky 3, the Italian Stallion motorcycle from Rocky 3 versus the Harley Davidson from Captain America. The very first Captain America movie.
Yeah, I think I'm going Rocky, dude.
Going Rocky, okay. Rocky 3. Me and my son just watched Rocky 2 2 nights ago. So Carl Weathers died. So we're like, okay, let's watch. Yeah. He had seen Rocky 1 and he's seen Rocky 4, but he's like, okay, we got Carl Weathers passed away, so we're like, we got to go pay respects. So movie watching is kind of a religion in our house. I mean, it's pretty intense. So, all right, here we go. All right, so that's out. Okay, that's Captain America's in the dust. Okay, here we have not a great movie, but kind of a cool looking bike. This is the Ghost Rider motorcycle from the Nicolas Cage version of the movie versus Zed/Butch's Chopper, Pulp Fiction. Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah, you're not gonna like this, maybe. I don't know, but I'm going Pulp Fiction.
Oh no, that's my favorite movie of all time.
Mine too.
It's my favorite movie of all time. I've seen it more times than any other movie. Well, what's that?
Casino and Pulp Fiction, my two all-time favorites.
So good. I think if I've seen one movie the most from my childhood, it was probably The Princess Bride, because we always had that movie on at the house, and I love that movie. It's so good. But Pulp Fiction is probably number 2. I just watch it every year just because it's so great. Okay. No, I'm with that. I'm with that pick, and it's very iconic in the movie. Whose bike is that? It's not a bike, baby. It's a chopper. All right, here we go. New school, futuristic, Tron Legacy versus old school, the Wild Ones, the Godfather himself. Ooh.
Yeah, the Wild Ones, no question.
God, look how that guy just looks like the man, dude. Don't tell me.
He's a man.
Whew, he looks good. I think my daughter watched The Godfather Part 1. And so for a lot of people, they only know Brando as Vito Corleone. And they don't know him from Streetcar Desire and all these old ones where he was just absolutely gorgeous, just an amazing looking person. So I had to pull it up and be like, oh, this is what he used to look like before he was older. And she's like, oh, okay. I see him. So, okay, all right, here we go. Round 1 is over. Now we're moving on to round 2. If you're just joining us, this is the Founders Club. We've got Kevin Lackey, and he had a brand called Freedom Power Sports. And so we are in the motorcycles. If you look up here, best movie bike battle. Okay, this is a tournament for the coolest motorcycle in cinematic history. Okay, and we are on to round 2. We've got the Terminator T2 versus Top Gun, the original movie. This is a tough one. I do not envy you right now.
Golly. Man, I don't want to kill time here, but that's a hard one actually. I didn't think that was gonna be hard.
Now we can come back to it if you want to go on and come back.
Let's come back to it.
Okay, coming back to it. Okay, so we have Kill Bill versus, and I think that's Kill Bill Volume 2 is when she gets on the bike, and then versus Skyfall.
Yeah, I'll go Kill Bill.
Okay, good choice. Can't go wrong with The Bride. All right, okay, going over to the other side of the bracket, we've got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade versus Rocky 3.
Yeah, I'm going Indiana Jones.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
I don't think anybody remembers Rocky being about a motorcycle, but that picture with the sidecar is iconic.
Yeah, that is, and two iconic actors, so you can't beat it. Okay, oh my God, another tough one here. We got Marlon Brando versus the ailing Bruce Willis. Breaks my heart to see him like he is today, but he made so many great movies.
He did. Oh, man.
Yep. To see who goes to the semifinals.
I think I'm going to pay my respects to Bruce Willis right now because, man, that dude, he brought the action, bro.
He was great as Butch. He was great as John McClane. I mean, he's been great as in every role. I'm a big fan. All right. Okay, now here it is. No more putting it off. We got a real decision to make here on this one.
Okay. I'm going Terminator, and the reason I'm going Terminator is because that movie and the action of that motorcycle, it was like a whole part of the movie.
Yes.
It just was. Like, he was on that thing always.
Yeah. And when on this scene in particular, when they're going through the reservoir and everything, and he loaded that pump action shotgun while driving.
Dude.
Go ahead.
It gets no better than that. That's exactly why.
Apparently Arnold really practiced that a lot because he wanted to do it like for real and make it look great and everything. And they were like, well, we can do this and that to make it. And he's like, no, I want to ride the bike and I want to do the pump action thing and all while we're going. So he really put a lot of work into that. So all right, here we go. We are in the semifinals where we have Arnold, the Legend of Legends in the action movie scene, versus Beatrice Kiddo, The Bride, Kill Bill Volume 2. And then we got on the other side, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade with the sidecar versus Butch on Zed's chopper, which is now, I guess, Butch's chopper. Spoiler alerts for that movie. All right, let me zoom out here a little bit. Here we go. All right, let me pull these both into the screen here. There we go. All right, so we'll start with Arnold versus The Bride. Who makes it to the finals from this group?
Man, I'm going The Bride.
Ooh, surprise choice. Okay. And she does look cool in the all yellow with the black stripes.
All yellow with the lid up. You're just like, wow.
Yeah, it's iconic. I think that's in Tokyo.
But that was good.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. That is good. Wow. I'm surprised she made it to the finals. I'm glad to see her there. So are we going to have an all Tarantino final, or does Steven Spielberg make his appearance versus the Tarantino?
Yeah, I think Spielberg's going to make an appearance because it's such an iconic.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I think he directed the third one. I know he directed the first one. I'm giving him credit anyways. We're giving him credit. If we're wrong, I'm sure the comments will let us know. All right, here we go. This is it. This is the championship. Who has the best movie bike of all time in cinematic history? It has come down to Kill Bill Volume 2 versus, it's a sequel fest, versus Indiana Jones number 3, which is The Last Crusade. Who's taking the bill? Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Give him the applause. There it is. In the championship, we get this, and then we're just gonna bring the champ up like that. And there we go. Tell us in the comment section, did Kevin get it right? Did he get it wrong? All the way to the championship. She had a rough go. Every round was tough, but she is the big winner. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, there's the best movie battle, best movie bike battle right here on the Founders Club. Let us know if we get it right, we get it wrong. But we're moving on now to serious business. And if you're just joining us live, this is the Founders Club, where we talk to people who have founded brands. We're talking to Kevin Lackey, formerly of Freedom Power Sports, and we just picked the best motorcycle bike in movie history. He went with Kill Bill Volume 2. Can't go wrong. It's a great look. It's a great scene. One of the best directors in my opinion, my favorite one. I don't know if he's the best, but he's my favorite. So that's a great choice. But now we're moving on to some serious business talk, okay? Because we're serious business people. We do serious business things, like talk about, I don't know what. But we talked about Freedom Power Sports a bit. We're turning the page to what is going on now. Fill us in on that and tell us what's going on these days.
Sure. So, Freedom, like I mentioned early on, we grew from one location to 14 locations across multiple states. We grew from about, our original dealership was around $8 million a year in revenue. And we grew it to a little over around 250 million a year in revenue in 2022, by the time 2022 came around. And very unexpectedly, I was not interested or looking to sell my business, but I got approached by a public company, kind of out of left field. COVID was very, very good to our industry. Everybody wanted to be on motorcycles and boats and four-wheelers and jet skis. So we were having phenomenal. 2020 was awesome. 2021 was awesome. And so we were really just like at the peak of our industry, I think, from revenues, gross profit. I mean, we just so many things were coming together. It was actually a really fun time, not in the very beginning, but it became fun once we understood COVID and how things were going to work and whatnot. But I got approached by a public company to purchase Freedom. And so, we put a number on it that we could live with, something that we could be excited about. And it was also, again, it was the peak. We had never seen numbers like that. And so it was the best opportunity. I could never go back. I don't believe I could ever go back and piece that whole thing together for a sell like that to happen. So I was 43 at the time. I wasn't looking to sell in any way, shape, or form, or not to work. So I sold with the intention of staying on as an executive with the company. I was going to be a part of a much bigger company, multi-billion-dollar organization. But unfortunately, the CEO, the former CEO of that business, and I did not get along. I believe he was well, I'll just keep that to myself.
Yeah.
We didn't share the same values. We didn't share the same values and principles. And so, unfortunately, over the next year, I watched a lot of destruction happen to my company. It was hard to watch. It was hard for the people that I cared about so much, that I thought and told this was going to be a really good thing. That wasn't the case. But I ended up having to just fight through, that situation. And, I chose to sell my company. That's what I chose to do. And so I took a year off to spend with my kids and, basically just really trying to decide and define what I wanted to do next. And what I wanted to do next was capital raising. I want to invest in other companies. I want to buy operating companies. So I had private equity that came in and helped me as I was growing. And so I have started 2662 Capital, and it's basically taking my own net worth and then friends and family and some other, what I would call high net worth individuals, and going out and finding operating companies and real estate that we can go underwrite, that we believe we can bring value through sales, marketing, training, professionalized services, management. For instance, my prior COO and I, we just bought a heavy equipment company out in Weatherford, Texas. We sell tractors, excavators, big dozers, all that kind of stuff. And the owner, the former owner, he was in his late 70s. He didn't enjoy being there. His efforts were focused on other things. It was undercapitalized and, ran like a mom and pop shop. And so we see an opportunity to go there and, again, bring in the people, professionalize the business, bring in the proper marketing, the sales, the branding, all those things. And, we'll 5X that business in 24 to 36 months.
Wow. Wow. So how many brands are you involved in right now? Sounds like a lot.
So right now I've got it's called Freedom Capital. It's my real estate arm. We're doing multifamily apartment complexes. So we're underwriting like 80s, 90 model apartments in Texas that we can buy that need to be cleaned up. And so we call that multifamily value add. And we're underwriting right now over Fort Worth. It's a smaller complex, like 76 units. But what'll happen is me and my partners on that deal will go in, underwrite the project. We will have the plans for the renovations and all that stuff. We'll get bank debt or seller finance on the deal, and then we'll have to go raise what's called limited partner equity. So we'll go pass the hat to friends and family or to some other investors to raise. Like on this particular deal, we need to raise $3 million, and people can write a $50,000 check or $1 million check. But we've underwritten it really, really well. We take our time. We find really good properties that are in our backyard that we think that we can add value to. So have that going on. I'm also interim CEO of a roofing company that I'm invested in called Integra. It's over in Irving. They do commercial and residential roofing.
Okay.
And so it's just a variety of things. I mean, the interim CEO, I'm working like less than 2 hours a week overseeing the president of that company. So I'm not hands-on in the roofing. I'm not hands-on in the equipment. I'm more hands-on with the real estate because I'm enjoying it. But we're literally just looking for kind of like non-sexy operating companies that have an aged owner, and they don't have a succession plan, and we think we can go and improve it.
Okay. Wow. It's kind of the dream, for a lot of entrepreneurs to grow and sell something and then be able to do kind of pick and choose different projects you want to take on. And it kind of sounds like a kind of fun kind of way to spend your day.
It's been, I will say this, just to be honest, just so people, because this is like to for people to learn and for my experience, it is great. I will say I've struggled in the last year to 2 years of not having that same camaraderie and that team and that consistency and whatever. When I would wake up for the first year and not have 100 phone calls, 100 text messages, 100 emails, 100 meetings, and really everything about my identity was wrapped up in my business for so long. I had to wake up and kind of look around, and I was just like, I don't like this. I started staying up a little bit later, getting up a little bit later instead of working out at 6 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning. I started working out at 8:30 or 9 in the morning. And to be honest, like you have to be a very disciplined person when you have that kind of freedom to make sure that you're focused on the right things, because too much time can be it cannot serve you well.
Kevin Lackey, you're a junkie. You can't. You're hooked on it, bro. What do they say? Tom Sizemore from the movie Heat. The action is the juice. You got to be in it, man. Well, that's not so bad.
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, dude, I'm young, sitting around. I promise. I don't have a lot of hobbies. Like I don't golf, and I hang out with my kids. I do dad stuff. I'm a single dad. And I do all the school and all the dad stuff, but like outside of that, dude, I really love to work.
Yeah, I'm with you. I work from home, and I'm here in my home studio, and I'm just always in here doing something. And if I got a day off, I'm just kind of I'll go piddle with some side project, or I'm just always on this machine making something or doing something. It's just what I like to do. A buddy of mine asked me. He was like, "So I don't drink alcohol," and he was like, "Well, what do you do to relax?" And I was just like, I'm always relaxed. I don't need to do anything to relax. I don't know. I'm a relaxed person. I don't think about like, I need to do something to relax. So I don't know. Well, I guess go to the gym.
I mean, honestly, like if you're using your mental energy to do the creative things that you're doing and the things that I was doing, I was so tired by the end of the day that I didn't need something to relax. I actually never drank alcohol other than socially ever. At night, I didn't get home and make a drink to wind down. Never. I always heard people did that. I had buddies who did that. Nothing wrong with whatever you want to do. But I never did that. But when COVID happened, and then I sold my business and I found myself with a bunch of time, I started to have drinks at night, and it really, even just like a couple drinks, it did nothing for me. It didn't help me relax. All it did was make me go to bed feeling worse, and it made me wake up feeling worse. And so I eliminated that out of my program quickly, because what served me best is being very physical and mentally active. And that then would help me settle in by the end of the night, to get a good night's sleep.
Okay, awesome. Well, I do want to mention, and I know we're about to wrap it up here. You've got some appointments coming up, and so we want to be mindful of the time. But I did want to talk about the one project that we got a chance to work with together, which was super fun back in the Freedom Power Sports days. Is I got a call. So I work in marketing, and then sometimes we do some video production work. And I'm sure you'll remember this, the 10X conference that you had a chance to be at. So my phone rings. This was sometimes in business you get an opportunity, but it's a time specific, like you're on the clock. If you're gonna make this happen, you got to do it. You got to quick turnaround. So my phone rings, and he's like, "Hey." We had already moved out of that space, and we were in a different building, not just across the street, basically. And I think you guys had as well. And you called me and were like, "Hey, man, you guys do videos, right?" I was like, "Oh, Kevin Lackey's on the phone. What's going on here?" "You guys do?" I'm like, "Yeah, we do videos." He was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" This was like on a Friday. I feel like it was Friday at noon. And you were like, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What am I doing right now?" And you were like, "Well, I got this chance, and I got to make this video for this deal, but it's got to be turned in on Monday morning. Like, is there any way we can do something?" And so I guess from your side, that's my side of the story. From your side, do I get that pretty accurate?
What happened was we had always been on the Grant Cardone training, program, and I had got to know them, him and his right hand man over years, and they called me and asked me if I will speak at the 10X Growth Con in Miami, like in 2 weeks, alongside Steve Harvey, Damon from Shark Tank.
Yeah, the Spanx lady. The lady who started Spanx, who was my favorite one, actually, besides Steve Harvey.
Yeah, there was huge names, right? And they asked me to be a filler guest speaker. And I'm like, absolutely. And so I reached out to you, said, "Hey, dude, I got to get like a little promo trailer that they want to do, and it's got to be professional, and I got to get it ASAP." And you stopped whatever you were doing. I went home, changed into something else, and then we started filming. It might have been 2 hours later.
Yeah, I think so. I just grabbed the gear, and they were like, where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm heading over to Freedom Power Sports over at HEB. Kevin's got some emergency project. We got to get it turned in." And we shot it that night, Friday night, and I worked on it all weekend. I was locked in, and we got a whole thing produced. And because you had sent me, I think you had tried to do like a selfie video because you didn't understand like what they needed. And you're like, "Well, here's what I sent them," but then here's what they sent me back showing like what other participants had sent and the level that they had produced it. Like, oh gosh. And then we had to be the best ones. We can't just be up to that level. We got to go past where they were, and we got to make sure that Kevin is the all-star of the group. And I think it turned out pretty good. I was proud of it.
Dude, it turned out so good. I still have, I'll go back and reminisce and look back through like old videos and all the different things that, we got to do over the last, 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome video, and it was just like an awesome time. Like, I felt very proud, right? When you get up in front of like, I don't know if it's 20 or 30,000 people.
Oh, a whole stadium. It was Marlins Stadium. They have it for people who don't know. They have it in Florida at the Marlins Stadium, where the Marlins MLB baseball team plays their games, and it was packed. I mean, it was crazy how many people at this thing. Yeah,
the floor was packed, and so I'm getting up on stage, and you obviously want something that you can be proud of, right? And I remember just feeling really like proud of myself, my team, the work you guys did. I think I texted you and was just like, "Holy cow, dude, this is awesome."
Yeah. Here's a little shot of the crowd at the thing there. I don't know what year this was, probably around that year. But yeah, so if you don't know, this is the event. It starts with the stage filling on day one, with the stage filling with smoke and a Rolls Royce with hemp themed wrap across the whole thing, rolls out on stage, and then who gets out but it's Snoop. And then Snoop does like a couple of songs, and that's what starts the whole show. So it's like, okay. Then I was like, okay, this is like a thing here. This is a big deal.
It was a big deal. Yeah. It was a great memory.
No, that was fun. I was a great memory, and you were like, dude, you got to come. I wasn't even going to go to the show, but you were like, dude, this is so good. You got to come. I got some tickets for you. Come out to Florida and be part of it. And I jumped right on a plane, and I was out there. I was having a good time.
I forgot about that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was there. I tried to get on stage to film, like when you were coming up. I was like, oh yeah, I'm Kevin's cameraman, and I'm gonna do the thing. And they were just like, nah, we got our own people for that, so we can't let you up there. So I tried.
Remember that.
I went to the security thing, and I checked with all these people. They were looking to see if my name was on a list. Of course, it wasn't, right? And when you're in business, you fake it till you make it. You just act like you're supposed to be there. Usually it works, but they had everything down so well, and they were so regimented and had all their little security protocols in place, which I totally understand. When you're doing a big event like that, you can't be fooling around with some knucklehead trying to jump on stage and video something. So I didn't get on stage to video you from a kind of behind the scenes perspective, but I was able to get some shots from that crowd, and I think it turned out pretty good. Yeah.
It was amazing.
That was fun. Yeah, that was fun. All right, Kevin. Well, I tell you what, man, we are so excited that you came on, and I love hearing your story. There's so much of that I didn't know. It's been a while since we've had a chance to catch up, and so really excited to see what's going to happen with 2662 Capital. Man, I'm just proud to know you and to hear the success story, and it's just a awesome thing. I think hopefully the Founders Club members will just be excited and just kind of hyped up to jump in and make these things happen. Thank you for sharing your experiences with team building and all of that good stuff. Two things. So one, tell people is there something they need to follow? Is there a website? Is there a social media thing? What they need to do? And then also one other thing. Okay, if there's not, that's no problem. But also, I put you the hot seat nomination. Who else that you know from your world needs to come on the Founders Club to share with the folks? Who would you nominate to come on?
I would say someone who is probably one of the most knowledgeable and experienced guys I know in business. And he's young and he's successful and he's humble. And he has his own podcast, but his name is Chris Powers.
Okay.
And so he's very well versed, and he interviews a lot of really great people. But I would say it would be great for someone to interview him, to hear more of his experience and like ask him questions versus him being the host all the time.
Okay, all right. Well, you have to introduce us, and we'd love to have him on. Well, thanks again for your time. This has been an awesome experience, and just to really value kind of what you had to share with us. And maybe we'll catch up for some coffee sometime soon and catch up a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll follow back up with you for that coffee, man. I really appreciate you having me on, and look forward to chatting again soon.
All right, Kevin, thanks a lot. All right, buddy. Yes, sir. There he goes, Kevin Lackey, Freedom Power Sports. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of hyped right now. I'm kind of a little bit kind of jazzed up and excited because, this is kind of the dream. Okay, he's not going to come out and say it. He's not going to be like, hey, look at me. I'm so cool. I did this thing. But I can say it, okay? I can say it from this side. That is so cool to just be in the office next to someone starting off and then having them build their whole thing up and then having a successful exit. That's something that sometimes you don't necessarily think about when you start a brand is what does the exit look like? Is this going to be my life journey and I'm going to be doing this job forever? Do I want to build it up and sell it? What is the thing that I want to do with this? And it sounds like he wasn't looking to do that, but when an opportunity comes up, sometimes you just got to take advantage of it. So that is exciting to hear his journey, and we look forward to seeing more great things from his capital investment company. If you are new at this, don't forget to like and subscribe. All of these folks are coming on, volunteering their time and giving all this great information. So we really appreciate all the members of the Founders Club that come on, show them some love, and be in the comment section and all of that great stuff. All of that really, really helps. We really appreciate everybody being here today. Catch us on, oh, here we go. The crowd likes this episode, apparently. But we certainly appreciate you guys jumping in and being part of the show. Thanks a lot. And if you are new to us, don't forget to like and subscribe and do all those fun things and share it. Until next week, we are live every Tuesday at noon. So until next week, I'm Jeff Jarrett. This is the Founders Club, and we will see you guys next week. You don't change,